Hey friends, this is going to be a very raw, real type of video. I have no script for this. I had not planned to record this, but I was doing my devotions this morning and I just felt compelled to share that someone else might be helped from my story. I am using this devotion, Journey to the Cross. It is meant for Holy Week, but I will say if you are watching this video after, you can do it anytime. The devotions are so good. They're so impactful and powerful. It's specifically for weight loss and eating issues. The devotion for today is Holy Saturday, which is the day before Easter, after Good Friday. And I want to read it to you, and I want to tell you what I wrote. This is what the devotion says. On this day, when we consider Jesus' time in the grave, it is as if we too are waiting in the darkness. What times of darkness have you had during your weight loss journey? This might include weight loss plateaus, weight regain, feeling like a failure, or feeling stuck. Write them on the lines below. Oh my goodness, I have so many. I could write a whole book, but I will just share with you the ones that I wrote. Again, this is very raw, and I had not planned to share. This is very deeply personal, but the reason why I'm sharing it is that I want you to know that you're not alone, because when I went through so many of these things, I felt so alone. And there is hope. There is victory. Easter is coming, friends. So the first one that I wrote was when I hit my low point before I started losing weight the final time, when I went back to therapy. I didn't have one rock bottom moment. So at this point I was over 100 pounds overweight. I was over 250 pounds. None of my clothes fit me. I couldn't buy clothes in a regular store. This was before Amazon. Amazon maybe sold books at the time. Maybe there wasn't even an Amazon. I don't know. But you had to shop in person. And I was past a size 24, which was the biggest of like Walmart and Kohl's and all those places sold. My daughter, she was little, elementary school at the time, came downstairs at one point while I was eating ice cream for breakfast. I binged on it the night before and was like finishing it for breakfast. And she said, "How come you can eat ice cream and we can't?" And it hit me like a rock. I thought I had been hiding my behavior from my kids, but they were seeing it. My binging, my compulsive overeating, my abuse of food, my addiction to food. When I got in the car, I realized my minivan, again, aging myself, they still have minivans. My stomach hit the steering wheel as I sat down. The last time that had happened was when I was pregnant. I wasn't pregnant anymore, just had filled it in with my overweight and my fat. Those were some low point moments when I knew I had to do something. I didn't know what, I didn't know how. I tried all the diets. I tried Weight Watchers so many times. I'd lost weight. I lost like 50 pounds, like 4 or 5, 6 times, but I couldn't keep it off. I kept going back to my binging habits. That was when I went to therapy and things really began to change. While I was in therapy, I worked through so many different things, my self-sabotage, my binge eating behaviors, my hiding of food, childhood issues. We spent so much time talking about my mom, friends, and now my kids will probably spend so much time in therapy talking about their mom. My dad, things that I didn't recognize at the time were abuse that were emotional, physical. And at one point, I remember driving home from therapy, and I was so angry, and I was pounding my hand on the steering wheel, like, why, Lord, why? Why do I have to deal with this? It felt so unfair and so hard and so overwhelming and so woven into every part of who I was that it just felt impossible to change. But it was possible. It was possible to change. It was a slow miracle. It did not happen on my timetable because I wanted it to happen yesterday. But it did happen. But I won't ever forget that moment. Another time, after I had lost a good amount of weight, probably 80 pounds, I saw a research doctor. I was in a research study actually at the University of Colorado about weight. And I was really frustrated because I had lost a lot of weight, but then I plateaued. I actually plateaued for about like 15 years before I finally did get to my goal weight. And I was talking to her about why. And she was honest, kind, but honest of like, you're still overeating. I was eating really well during the day, being good during the day, but then overeating at night. And then I was really being good during the week, but then overeating on the weekend. And I was massively underestimating how much damage I was doing on the weekends. And that was so hard to hear. It was what I needed to hear, but it was so hard to hear. And I went through kind of another emotional spiral about my weight at that point. And I remember another time on my knees in my living room praying, and we had like this pink rocking chair at the time. Don't ask me about my taste at that time, but I remember kneeling on the floor with my hands on the pink chair, praying for God to just please lift this burden of my food problems from me. And he said no. He has continued to just so graciously bless me with the strength to get through it, but it's not gone away. It's not gone away. When we moved to New York, so we lived in Colorado for 16 years, and then we moved to New York. My husband's pastor, he took a call, and I really let my habits slide. I'm not sure I've ever even told anybody this, because I had my website at the time. I had the Holy Mess, and I regained about 20 pounds, and I tried to hide it. And I ended up going back to Weight Watchers, back to meetings. I wasn't using meetings at the time because I knew I needed the accountability. And that was really hard to to own up to and admit how much I had let my habits slip. That was another low point. About 2 years ago, I went back to therapy again because I was having so much bitterness that I had been maintaining my weight at that point for about 15 years, and it was still so hard. It was still so hard. And my business partner with Faithful Finish Lines, the program I had at the time, she'd also lost 100 pounds, and it really wasn't that hard for her. She just has like such victory in the area of food, and I'm so happy for her, but so jealous. Like, how come she was healed of her food issues and I wasn't? And that's what I went back to therapy for. And I was in therapy for another year, and I learned a ton, and much of it I've shared with you. But it was a struggle, and I still wrestle with that sometimes. And then all the GLP-1 medications like became popular. They've been around for a lot longer, but became popular. And I don't qualify for those through my insurance because I'm at a healthy weight, yet I still struggle to stay at that healthy weight. And I was so jealous of all of those people, like that they're going to get to take a medication for what I've struggled with all these years. I'm still wrestling with that one, but I'm very happy for the people that it's helping them. And I'm not opposed to medication. I'm not telling you should take medication. I'm just saying I think it's another tool in the toolbox. And I know it's not like a perfect solution. I'm just telling you how I feel. A couple years ago, a donut shop moved in. Like, literally, I can almost see it from my house. It's like a block down and over. And I thought, I'm going to be smelling donuts cooking from my house. I love donuts. I really struggled with that, and I was really mad. I was mad that the donut shop moved in. Like, seriously, Lord, as if it's not hard enough. I have to have a donut shop that I can smell the donuts cooking. But God has given me victory over those donuts, believe it or not. It's been fine. I walk by it almost every day when I go out for my walks and my lunch hour. Thankfully, their donuts, they're good, but they're not that good, so that helps. A couple years ago, I started having really, really bad stomach issues. The doctor couldn't figure out why. I hit so many low points during that time. I was so sick. My diet was so limited. And I will say the only way I got through it is because I have been wrestling with all these food issues, and I had developed so many skills that got me through it. But boy, was it tough. I remember at Christmas, one of those Christmases, my diet at that point was so restricted. I could not eat any like desserts or ham or like all the Christmas foods. Um, I just had to go outside and walk while my family was eating those because I just couldn't even be here. So those are just some of my low points. And again, I share those if you have had times of darkness. So let me share how the devotion ends. It says, read Psalm 46:10, and that says this: be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. And then it says, even in our times of darkness, God is working. Write, be still and know in bold letters over the times of darkness you just listed. So that again is from the Journey to the Cross devotion. I'm going to be doing that. I haven't even done that yet on my writing, but I'm going to be doing that. And the other time of victory is the devotion before on Wednesday is to make a donation to a food bank, and it walks you through how to do it for every pound that you've lost or want to lose. So I purchased 125 pounds of food that I'm going to be donating. So I will do a separate video for that, and that is just going to be such a moment of victory. But I wanted to share this Holy Saturday first, the time of waiting, the time of darkness, so that you know that you're not alone, but that Easter is coming. Love you, friends. Let me know in the comments if any of these resonate with you and if it's helpful to hear. Take care.